Welcome, adventurers from across time and space. 5 creators have been brought together from across the internet for one purpose and one purpose alone: to travel through time and have a good time doing it. When big changes happen to the timeline, the change attracts other time travelers like gravity. They won't be able to move past it until they fix whatever was messed up. So our heroes are stuck together, but only for the time being. Welcome back, adventurers. In our last episode, Pharaoh Whiskers was advising Sargon of Akkad, while Mason, Aixxa, and Elena were in the medical tent deciding what to do next about the bows they discovered did not belong. The battle is continuing in front of you guys as this is all happening. And I think the question then is, so because this is the beginning of the conflict and it seems like most of you are kind of not engaging with the exception of Whiskers. I'm curious, Elena, what do you think happens that injures or takes something away from you in this moment?
I think that this is the moment that she had rolled in and she had done all the things, right? And she feels very just the really heroic shot, and she's ready and she's getting there. And then I think it's that thing where her team is looking at her in horror. And she looks down and realizes that there's an arrow sticking in her leg. And she's like,
oh God.
Oh, and then then that pain comes rushing in. And so she's bleeding. Not the first time. She does all of her own stunts. This is normal. She's like, all right, we have protocol for this. But I do think she probably just legit caught a stray arrow. But it definitely has to be that trope of all right, team, what are we gonna do? Why are you looking at me like that? And then look at the camera pans down, and it's just it's sticking out, just arrow sticking out, and she's stop the bleeding. Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, that's great. I love that a lot. I also love that so far we don't have a direct conflict with the armies that are going at it, so that's super fun.
Do I get to do a thing, even though I only have? Great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What else would you like to do in this moment?
I mean, Elena knows that the movie sets are really run by the little folk, the PAs, the base camp. This is where all of the work gets done, right?
Mm-hmm. All the people with radios, yeah.
Walkie-talkies. This is what is happening, especially in a big war like this. There's shit on the fringes. There are people who have set up med tents. There's places where people who are not actively fighting will come back and refuel themselves, and that's where she wants to go. Especially because she's injured, and she's like, well, obviously in this part of the movie, I would be going in and I would be going into the med tent, and then I could infiltrate their thing and figure out what's going on. I'm injured. Help. Oh no. So that's where she's going to go.
That is a great instinct. Yeah, I think that there's absolutely medical tents towards the back ranks of this war. And that probably will take you over towards where Whiskers ran off to, honestly. So if
I follow,
of course,
just
come along
5 feet behind.
Yeah.
And I'm just okay.
I like that idea. Okay. So sort of this whole crew heads over towards these medical tents, over at the back end of the battlefield. And you kind of have to go past where all the, charioteers are running back and forth, restocking everybody. You go past where Omar is chatting up Sargon, and you're sort of leaving behind poor Mason, who is stuck in his hiding spot behind the tree.
One of the people that is with me always has an umbrella for me. So we do have shade. So Mason could hop in.
Oh, Mason could go with. Yeah. Well, and I will give Mason that option. If you want, Ben, I think it would make sense for you to, before they leave, go touch base with the other obvious time travelers, unless you have something else you want to do sort of off on the sidelines here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hang back, make a couple of notes, just kind of evaluate the situation. Then when I realize that they're leaving and it would just be me in this tree in the middle of a battlefield, I definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to be like, okay, making notes here. Following woman and crew. Another person has appeared. Ham's described as weird. Is the only way I can really put that. And then I will kind of like nonchalantly, like I don't need to go there, but I'm just like, I am also just walking in this direction.
Right.
I love it. I also appreciate that you have a context for what a camera crew is.
Yeah.
Like that's you're one of two people in this whole situation who knows what a camera crew is. So let's go ahead and flip over our next set of cards. Man, I am getting all the low ones out early.
Me too.
It's not going well.
The Akkadians are going to give a little bit of ground to the people of Kish, but only a little bit because I've got a 2 and a 3. All right, we got a king. A 3. Ties go to the player.
Yeah, that's right.
My king is Mark's, too.
Is that a 10? Yeah. Ooh, what's the mark on your king?
It's a boob.
That is an ally.
Oh, yeah. Remind me what puppy feet are.
Puppy feet generally refer to...
No, I know that.
Clubs. Generally refers to...
Right.
Yeah, puppy feet refer to people who labor.
Oh,
so farmers...
It's my costumer.
Costumer, okay. Feel free to give a little extra focus to your costumer in this moment, as they are helping you to achieve what's going on, or something they gave you is helping to achieve what's going on, which does make sense considering that your costume is going to probably be what gets you into this medical tent. So as the combat is continuing and the majority of you are sort of headed into this medical tent area in the back with the support crew. I mean, the good news is that everybody is going to be successful at what they're trying to do, and your aims are going to come out on top. And that means that we kind of don't need to go one by one the way that we did previously. Let's just sort of tell the story of the middle of this battle. As the Akkadians get pushed back by the people of Kish, their lines somehow break. Perhaps there's I'm going to say that the people of Kish come up with a particularly clever ruse that somehow gets a few of their fighters behind the phalanx, and they sort of break out the shield wall and cause a rout. So there's a lot of commotion going on around you guys as the fighters in the back are trying to push the people ahead of them to get back into line. There's a lot of shouting, a lot of disarray around you, since all 4 of you are at the back end of this fight. It's not endangering any of you currently, but that is the sort of context that you're in. So let's talk about what's going on with the 4 of you. And I think because of the current split, let's start with Mason, Aixxa, and Elena, and then we'll sort of pan over and take a look at what Whiskers is doing with Sargon. So what do you think is going on, guys? This is a collective storytelling moment. Yeah.
I'm very interested in just like bursting into the tent very dramatically and then swooning once I have everyone's attention.
So this is like a medical tent, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow you in and I see that you're swooning and you're bleeding from the leg, and I'll go up to you and I'll say, "Excuse me, do you need any help? I am I'm familiar with the human circulatory system if you need any assistance."
So like a very weird way of saying that. I think that you're one of us. Yeah? Just a
Yes.
traveler's capital T, if you will. Yeah. Cool. Listen, I'm trying to like lay this up so we can get some information out of these dudes. Do you think that you could do you know what I mean? Like maybe you could search or something like while I'll get their attention and you can like.
Oh, okay. I really loudly then just go, "Oh, never mind," and then walk away like a weirdo. I just like blink a lot, and then I like, okay.
Good.
And then I look behind me, and then like do like one of these, like a thumbs
With
up.
a
and like,
giant,
very,
giant thumb.
Probably
and-
to
yes,
the camera
but also
crew.
like, yeah, really proud of myself for having learned what a thumbs up
Oh,
is.
yeah.
So we'll be using it a lot.
Cool.
With your creepy, spooky
my God.
thumbs.
I love it.
But then,
What is Mason
Okay,
up
go
to in this dark? Yeah,
I think he is actually like snooping around and looking for
Yeah,
stuff
he
while
preemptively.
Elena, yeah, because that's his forte. So yeah, I'm just kind of seeing what info I can pull out from just kind of it. Maybe I wouldn't recognize anything, obviously, but maybe I've seen something in a museum or something like that that kind of placed me where I'm
yeah.
at.
I mean, let's go ahead and do a draw for all three of you as you kind of come into this moment. Since, well, Stella, you've already done this kind of when you assessed the spear. So let's get Elena and Mason do a draw just to see how your history is. And this is our first time getting to do a paired skill check. Skill contests in this game, you are working together. So only one of you has to beat my card.
I hope
to
you
get a
draw
success
bad
on
because
this.
we didn't draw great, I don't think. Or is the ace the high?
I think ace is high.
That's an ace. Yeah, ace is high. Yeah.
Ace is high? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a 1. Couldn't remember.
Yeah. And I got a 7. So that's going to go to Mason.
I mean, that's fair because I'm the diversion.
Yeah.
So Mason, you, I think, probably paid pretty close attention in high school history. And I don't know, maybe you had to do your book report on Sargon or the Akkadians or Code of Hammurabi or something.
The Ace of Diamonds is actually one of my allies, so it belongs to when I was in the police force, it belonged to my captain. So I think maybe Sargon was like his favorite, and it was always carrying on about Sargon. So like I know too much about Sargon, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what Captain Brian was always talking about. This guy.
Is kind of dope now that I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, he did seem kind of cool.
I like the idea that Sargon is absolutely the sort of historical figure that would be somebody's like favorite. Like, let me refer back to that thing that Sargon supposedly said back in 2500 BC. Which one of my personal favorite things I learned in doing research for this is there's a lot of written history about this time period, but there is very little written history in this time period. So everything that you read about the Akkadians, reasonable historians will always start with, now this is a legend. Just to be clear, this is a legend. And a lot of it was written by the Mesopotamians trying to like give legitimacy to later rulers who are descended from these guys. So there's a lot of like hero worship and stuff like that, which means that your captain probably had a lot of really cool hero worshipy sort of, oh yeah, he's super cool stuff, king of battles, sort of thing. Yes. So, given that we've kind of talked a little bit about the history already, and I don't want to make this is not an educational podcast, just to be clear, it's not.
I'm learning a lot.
Hey, some of it might even be true. So, what I'd like to give Ben, the player, is the chance to ask some additional questions that we haven't kind of already covered, because I think you get a lot of the same vibe information that we've already talked about. Like, you get an idea of the historical period, you get an idea of the technological space. You probably recognize Sargon of Akkad if since your captain was into him. That dude over there, that's him for sure. That's what was on the money. But are there any additional questions you want to ask about sort of the historical space that you find yourself in?
Not. I think I kind of like we discussed. The captain always talks about Sargon and had maps and everything in his office, so I kind of get the vibe. But I'm curious about the other quote unquote travelers, my companions here, because everything kind of fits. Everything else kind of makes sense, but they definitely stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, these guys are definitely not supposed to be here.
Right.
Do you think that you have run into other time travelers before?
Oh, absolutely
no? Okay,
not.
that's cool. That's a cool choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you figure that part out in roleplay. I don't think there's anything much I can tell you aside from, you for sure can tell like these guys do not belong here.
So yeah, seeing Elena going off and doing her thing and being a distraction, I'm gonna go to Estella. How do you pronounce your character's name again?
Aixxa.
Aixxa. I'm gonna go to Aixxa and just kind of like, hey. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Do you know? You seem to have some knowledge of what's happening.
Not really. I've run into other travelers once or twice before, and we sort of work together until we don't. I don't know a ton, but it's good that we're here together. It seems safer. Well, marginally. She did get shot in the leg.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out other travelers. You said what do you mean?
Oh, yes. Well, I am not from this time. I don't know if you could tell. But and you do not look, no offense, like you belong here either. And she comes with accoutrements that are not time appropriate. So, yes, it stands to reason that we are all from different time periods or different planets.
Different planet. Okay. See, because I know that I'm really drunk, passed out in an alley right now. This is all... I'm very hungover, I assume. And, my captain always is talking about Sargon, so I think I'm in one of, like, a drunken stupor, but I'm not sure how you fit in. Am I dreaming you as well? Because this is all a dream. This is all a whiskey-induced dream, right?
Perhaps dreaming is just another time travel element. So you might be right.
Am I? Okay. Are you an alien? Is that what you are?
Technically, yes.
How loud was that?
The question, are you an alien?
Yeah. In the tent.
I feel like it was loud enough.
Yeah. Because I think this is all a dream. So I'm like, obviously I got drunk at the bar, passed out in the alley. I'm dreaming about Sargon because Captain Malone's always talking about him. But these people are also operating strangely, so I'm coming to the realization.
When I hear that, I definitely want to cover that because that's not a thing we should say too loudly. So I think I'm going to like play it up and like just maybe snap that arrow off and like be very loud to try to like attention back over here, everybody. Like,
do you scream or make a weird noise when you snap it off?
Oh yeah, it's a loud. Yes, it's big.
Yeah, and I think
if you scream, then I immediately scream too.
Okay, yes! Great. All right, we're all screaming.
Great choice. I do want to focus the camera back on Elena just for a second to pay off that your initial distraction tactic is working. You've gotten a few of the medics over. They're like trying to give you help. It is very clear to you that medical progress in this period of history leaves a great deal to be desired.
For sure.
And so they are mostly praying. A lot of what they're doing is basically praying.
Sure.
So snapping an arrow off of your own leg has definitely achieved the goal. You are maintaining control of the situation.
I don't have much more of this arrow left. Tighten it up, guys.
The question that I have for Mason and Aixxa is, do you think you pick up on her trying to stop you from the thing you're doing?
No.
I might, because I'm realizing that scream is of like real pain. and this might all be real. It's like slowly fading that this isn't, because like I said, I would, if I fell asleep drunk or whatever, I'm dreaming about all these battles and stuff. But like, why would an alien and then like this woman that's like hurting like and breaking off an arrow in her own leg? Why would that be in my subconscious? Like, what's up with that? So I'm like, do we need to check on her? Is she okay?
She has denied my my assistance with her circulatory system, so I think that she is fine.
Okay, because you were both screaming. She was screaming. You were also screaming. So
It just you know, it just startled me. Sorry for screaming in your face.
You're okay. I just this might be real. I'm slowly coming to that realization that this is not a dream.
I find in these situations it's best to just accept it and move forward.
Okay. Is there a way forward? Is there a way to get back to where we're from?
I am not sure. But we can do some investigating with, like you are doing with your pad.
Yes, I am taking notes. And I like try to hold it towards you so you can't see the part that I called your hands weird.
Perhaps we should help her with her blood and then find the cat.
Yeah, you saw the cat too. Okay, I thought I was the only one. I was ready to write that off as dream logic, but you also saw the cat, so
the cat
okay.
Is real.
Gotcha. Okay, let's help her with her, you said circulatory system?
I love that the line makes total sense in this particular very specific moment, but perhaps we should help her with her blood and then go find the cat.
These are our logical
happens.
steps.
Context. Fantastic. So the two of you have come together in this moment. For Elena, you are trying to distract these guys, but you're also attempting to do something else. What was it that you wanted to get out of them now that you have their attention?
Normally, when I land someplace, it is because something is wrong. Something has gone awry here. And so
So you kind of exclusively go to these dense points in time.
I think so, yeah. And I think she leans real heavily on the like damsel in distress sort of ingenue moment at the beginning, because people say a lot of stuff in front of pretty ladies that they maybe wouldn't at other times. She's very non-threatening. So like now she's injured. So like I think she's trying to get information out of like what sort of weirdness has been happening here. What is something that should not be happening but is, because usually people are very on edge when, and not just in a war situation, but like things have gone a little foobar everywhere she lands. So she's looking for those places.
So I have an important question for you then.
Okay.
As you travel through time, what is the logical explanation for why you're able to understand people?
Because she doesn't think too hard about it.
Okay.
It's not about that. It's, I mean, they're making a movie. And in movies, you could everybody speaks the same language. Yeah. You can talk to whoever. So if
I like the idea that somehow just in the like area of the camera, it's all happening in English. They all have British accents for inexplicable reasons.
It's very strange. Often only if they're bad guys, though, they have a British accent, which is it's a good tip off for me.
Or Romans, which frequently are bad guys. Yeah,
but also oftentimes Romans have British accents in some movies that we have seen because they're the bad guys. But like, so they might speak accented English, but it is always English.
I like that idea a lot. And yes, I'm going to ask all of you what the interior logic is for why you understand everybody. Universal translators are amazing, and I think that the mental gymnastics to make them work are even more amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's great. That's great. So yeah, I think that you're able to, first off, you're able to pick up sort of the conversations that are happening around you in the initial moment. So like you're able to tell that like these are this is a medical tent. These people are treating other people. They're talking mostly about like this person's had an arm chopped off. That person's like got an arrow in their face. There a lot of business-like conversation prior to your coming in. You, however, are an anomaly, mostly by virtue of being a lady person. They didn't expect to see any lady people coming into the medical tent today. There just aren't a lot of them on the battlefield in ancient Mesopotamia.
Sure. But wouldn't there, this is maybe a history question, but like, wouldn't there be lady people on the fringes? Like,
yeah, probably. Yeah. And so I think that's the question they're going to ask you is, how did you get into the like line of fire? And sort of, and move into that. But I don't think that's the more interesting part of this scene. I think the most interesting part of this scene is the information that you're getting out of them.
okay.
So I think the question is, do you think you drive them towards questions about the organization of the conflict? Do you look for other anomalies? Like what do you want to sort of trick them into doing as they try to help you with this injury?
I want to know what's out of place. I'm looking for the anomalies. I'm looking for the weirdness.
Because we know that you didn't super remember anything, but you are able to understand the context because of Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the thing I will impose in this moment is that you're asking these questions loudly enough that Mason is able to pick up on and react.
Sure.
And I think you're reading Mason's reactions as much as you are the reactions of these medical staff.
Okay. Is this a draw or no?
I may ask you to draw later, but right now you're covered by your initial.
Okay, cool.
We haven't done anything special. So yeah, I think you're able to, you chit chat with these guys and try to trick them into revealing what
you
is
said a lot
anomalous.
of them are like praying over me.
Yeah, there's a lot of praying.
Well, I mean,
going
I think I would lean into that. I think in all of her travels, she has found that people of the cloth, one way or another, are always very interested in sharing their stories because they feel like it's going to save her, because she's usually not.
Yeah.
In whatever proper context they are expecting her to be, which usually means that there's some sort of a problem, right? So I think she leans into that and like, what else has been causing you to have distress and causing you to have to pray, and what else are you fixing, basically?
I love it. I will have you draw actually to see if you're able to talk them out of it. Oh, and I have a feeling you're gonna.
Oh God, I hope so. It's okay. It's not super high. It's an 8.
Hey,
okay.
I got a 2.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm apparently exclusively low cards today.
I feel like that's going to be bad for us later.
Yeah, probably. But this is super good for you right now.
Oh, and it's a marked card.
Ooh. What's the mark?
It's got a circle with a line, like a half T.
Yeah,
kind of thing in it.
Looks like a steering wheel, huh?
It does kind of look like a steering wheel.
That is an enemies card.
Oh, yes.
So you are going to draw a second card and take the lower of the 2.
Okay.
Hey, all right. So that
still
queen
an 8.
is higher, so we're going to stay with the 8, which is still higher than my 2.
Okay. That was the nephew of the studio head who's a PA and is out to get me. It's real mean.
What do you think it is about this situation that reminds you of him?
Oh, I think a lot of these people got their job because of their families.
Oh, yeah. This is the priesthood of Akkad. Yeah, absolutely. Nepotism all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think,
in fact,
I think that I
there's
can
probably like a
see
familial resemblance to a bunch of them. Yeah.
I think they're all cousins. I think some of them are probably a touch dim-witted. Maybe all of them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I also think that could be very useful because if I could pinpoint the dimmest one, maybe he won't realize that he's not supposed to tell me stuff.
Perfect.
And I'll just like bat my eyes at him and see what happens.
Lady, it is so wonderful that you have come into the house of injury today. It is our pleasure to pray over you, but you seem to have some concern. How is it that we can assist you with other observations of the
Yes.
I do not think I understand. There's so much to observe on the battlefield today.
I feel like I would, because I'm adjusting where I got shot in the leg, right? She would maybe. I also think all of her costumes are a touch tearaway because they're all stage costumes. So she like tears it open on that side, sort of revealing more leg, and is cleaning things up, and is just like, I'm worried about. There's rumors everywhere, and I don't understand them. But you seem like you would understand, being so connected with the gods and everything. Like perhaps you could explain to me what some of these terrifying rumors mean.
You speak just like that historian who comes, that Mr. Quillang. I such broad observations are, I am afraid, beyond me. But perhaps some other scholar, such as he, might be able to assist you in identifying what is odd.
Where do you think I might be able to find this Mr. Quillane?
Well, of course, he is to be nigh unto our king. As I'm sure you are aware, he has been shadowing the king for some time.
Remind me how long that's been. I can't seem to keep it all. Loss of blood. You understand?
I have been aware of him for some 2 weeks, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah. And just arrived out of nowhere. Definitely not a local fellow, is he?
No. I understand that he is from somewhere across the river, but I do not pretend to know the full breadth of the world.
I think it's very important that I go see him.
If it is your wish, madam, certainly we would be happy to oblige once you are healed.
I'm sure I can make that. I appreciate that so much. I'm gonna just like lean and look at Aixxa and say, new friend, do you think that you could look at my circulatory system now?
I like beam, and I'm like, I would love to.
And then I just sort of like ask the priest, like, if you could just make a little bit of room for my friend with the hands. If you could.
Oh, certainly.
Of course, wonderful. Thank you.
We will return to our praying.
Yes, keep praying. You are doing a bang up job. Wonderful job.
Had we left off at Ishtar, everyone? All right, Ishtar, bless the...
Wonderful, yeah. If you could just a tiny bit quieter. It's I have heard that the gods are very interested in your hushed reverence.
Oh.
Yes.
As she says.
Yes, good.
Ishtar, bless this
Wonderful,
house of
good,
healing.
perfect.
Very rhythmic chanting.
I'm Elena. What should I call you?
You can call me Aixxa.
It's wonderful. Your hands are different than mine.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No,
And then I pull out gloves that are.
absolutely.
Are you sure?
I was just letting you know that I realize that we are perhaps from not the same place.
That would be correct. I do not live here in any time.
Oh, that sounds lonely.
It is not. There are people where I live. I did not say I live
But you were
alone.
not there. You came here by yourself
Mm,
in like a really beautiful sort of misty glitter fall thing. That was nice.
Oh yes, I am the person the source has chosen. So I travel here whenever she thinks it is necessary.
Interesting. I've got this
Do you want me to
I've
touch
got
your leg
an
now?
arrowhead just real deep in the meat there. If you could just, I don't know how you do it, but you seem confident, and I like that.
I'm curious what Mason's inner monologue is for this.
Yeah, Mason has found some shadows in the tent, and he's just rhythmic chanting. I can hear it all around me. It's now in hushed tones, as recommended by Elena. Aixxa is approaching her with her hands, those strange, wonderful, terrible hands.
Wonderful.
Love that.
I think this goes back to kind of when we did our backstory stuff, the tinkering even on bodies type thing.
Yeah.
So I would like to maybe flip to see if I can fuck with her blood.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Positively.
Yeah, in a
Go ahead and draw a
positive way.
card.
All right. Not bad, not great.
Ooh, I have a 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck with your bad negative or your blood
Okay.
negatively.
So, but not super bad.
Right. I think maybe how that plays is I just rip the arrowhead out. I'm just gotta get this out first.
Yeah, I buy that.
Oh. Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I also scream when she screams. So I rip it out and then scream at the same time.
As everyone in the tent looks back at you guys.
Ooh, boy.
I think this is a great moment for us to cut the scene and pop back over to check in with Whiskers. So Whiskers, you have jumped into the war chariot of Sargon the Great. You immediately jumped in and started giving him orders. What do you think is the internal logic by which Whiskers is able to speak to everybody as he travels through time?
Well, Whiskers is divine.
Oh,
Not only he's a pharaoh, which are basically the humanoid, or to say the earthly versions of the gods, but he speaks with Bast, and who gives him all the wisdom that he needs to solve any type of issue, and of course translate anything in his head instantly. He's like a savant when it comes to languages, so he knows
I love it.
everything at any time.
That makes perfect sense. So you're in this chariot with Sargon, and Sargon is, at first, I think, taken very much aback by, a kitty cat showing up and giving him orders. But cats are blessed of Ishtar. So I think he's like, okay, I can get down with this. This is fine. And he's going to start trying to follow your orders. And that sort of covers where we left you. As we continue forward, are you just going to keep going with trying to direct the course of the battle, or do you have another direction you kind of want to go now that you've had your initial influence on Sargon. It is worth noting that while your ideas were good, they have started losing a little bit.
The ego of Whiskers has been slightly bruised. And for the beginning of it, he will command Sargon, because these are technically, in history, the ancestors of the Egyptians.
Yeah.
They share. So he sees that he probably knows how this battle will go, or how it should, or at least much about it. But he's intent, his ultimate goal, as he probably has been time traveling a lot. Maybe didn't meet with a lot of time travelers. I would say he hasn't met with much. He's seen people of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be shocked eventually when he sees other people who have this ability, because he thinks it's his God's given right. His goal is to figure out what's wrong with this, because his ultimate goal is to try to get back to his own time.
Oh, sure.
And he needs to, but to do so, sure, he has to solve the issues of this time period. So definitely what those bows and those bows that were out of place, it would catch his cat's eye, and his goal would be to kind of surmise and figure out what that is and what he could do to kind of right the wrongs that are happening here.
Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, I think as you look around, the thing that I will give you as just a fun fact is that one of the things that the Akkadians are famous for in this particular period is composite bows. So these are bows made out of wood and horn that are stronger and throw arrows better, and they're better technology, and that's one of the things that made them dominant. Whiskers is able to spot that this army is carrying what are called self bows, which are bows which are made out of one material, and they seem to be aware of the fact that they're carrying the wrong weapons. Like, the archers are firing an arrow and then looking at their bow, the way that you do when like the tool you were trying to use isn't quite doing the thing it's supposed to do. You're like, I knew this was the wrong screwdriver. Maybe I got to go back to the tool bag or whatever. They're definitely giving the bows a second look.
He would probably first start off with seeing the battle fail that he's trying to guide for the Akkadians, hop onto the shoulder of Sargon the Great, and just with a paw, just kind of give him a little paw smack across the face.
Yeah.
And just like, round.
What is it, my friend?
You
speaking cat?
You should know. You are Sargon the Great.
Yeah.
You defeated King Lugal Zagessi, won the army to your side, and took over. And yet this is how you do with your army around you? Ugh. Let me teach you something. This is a
lot of people are showing up and trying to teach me things these days. I'm starting to get a little tired of it.
Well, then maybe if you listen and learn, they won't have to. Use a tactic about 200 years in the making. Divide and conquer. Send your men over there, and then we'll see exactly how victory will go. But before you do, answer me this. What is up with the bows? That is not right. Where did you learn of such things?
Mr. Quillang insists that the bows were promised by Ishtar, and that these bows are going to give us victory this day, and that Ishtar does not like the mixing of materials in our warfare. So if you've got a problem with the bows, Quillang, come here. I and this cat both have problems with your advice regarding the bows. And with that, another chariot sort of like pulls up from along the side, and you see a person who, to all intents and purposes, looks like they belong. This guy looks like all the other Akkadians. He's wearing the same Akkadian gear. He's got the right, like, facial makeup and whatnot to sort of suggest that he's genetically of this time period and place, but there is something about him that just doesn't feel right to you, Whiskers. And I think that it is at this point that he like looks at you, and then he looks at the king, and he looks back at you, and he says, Your Royal Highness, I think that I need to have a private conversation with your new military advisor.
Yes, I would agree as well, Sargon the Great. We should talk in private. What was your name again? Quillang?
Yeah. Frizz Quillang, yes.
Mm-hmm. Come.
You come.
We shall speak over here.
No,
you
come.
As it kind of gets into that tall hissing cat, someone defying his ruling, his command.
Amazing. And I think that is where we'll end this first episode, so that we can pick back up with the conclusion of our conflict and this meeting between Whiskers and Frizz Quillang. If you are thinking, gosh, that must be the bad guy, good work acknowledging the hopefully obvious clues.
We did it.
So we did it. We did it. All right. So for us in the room, it'll be a few minutes. But hey, for you at home, we will be back in your podcast feed soon with episode 3 of our first adventure. And I hope that you will join us again then. Thank you all so much. Stella Cheeks is at Stella Cheeks on Instagram and Bluesky. Sarah Moore is at Pixies and Pins on all of the social media channels and at pixiesandpins.com. You can also check out her Sarah's Table live streams on Twitch at Pixies and Pins. Omar Burgos is at Tailweaver. Check out his work on the Tale of D20's TTRPG channel. More information at ataleofd20s.com. Ben Banks is at DJ_Blindian on Instagram and SoundCloud. I'm Ansel Burch, and you can find me at The Indecisionist on all of the meta properties and on Bluesky. Special thanks to Cameron Avesk Davis for the song you're hearing now and at the beginning of the podcast. This has been an Indecisionist production. Go to Indecisionist.com to find more of our work, including my monthly gaming event, TTRPG Pickup Con, and my other time travel podcast, Time to Party. As you travel at 1 second per second, take some time out for these intrepid adventurers. They may be in trouble, but only for the time being.